Guerrilla Games tribute to Lance Reddick in Horizon, Metal Gear Solid 4 may be freed from PS3 after all, Part 2 of the Microsoft FTC trial reveals new info on exclusives, and E3 for the next year may not have been cancelled. All that and more in today's PlayStation news, let's get to them. Guerrilla Games has added a tribute to the late Lance Reddick who played Silence in Horizon Forbidden West. The shrine can be found in the new area from the Burning Shores DLC. I won't say the direction to avoid spoilers, but if you want to check it out, look at the links in the description. This is a great way to pay respects to an actor that gave a lot to the gaming industry. Silence as a character moving forward for the franchise has not been addressed yet, as the team doesn't think it's the right time, and I fully agree. Final Fantasy XVI launched last week and the sales results for the UK are in, and there are good and bad news. The good news is that the game was number 1 in the UK rank only counting physical sales, but the bad news is that it wasn't a strong box launch. According to Game Industry's Christopher Drink, physical sales were 74% lower than the launch week for Final Fantasy XV in 2016, but he also indicates that digital is a much bigger component of sales today, and that information comes later. We also have to consider that Final Fantasy XVI is a PS5 exclusive, while 15 was on both PS4 and Xbox One. We'll have to wait on all the sales data for 16 on week 1, as well as the other regions to get the full picture. We have a follow-up to the Metal Gear Solid 4 story from the previous video, where Twitter user Nitroid put the clues from the MGS website together and pointed out that MGS4, Peace Walker and MGS5 had placeholders, so this could be the games that form Volume 2 for the MGS collection. IGN reported that they have heard and kind of confirmed this is indeed the planned lineup for the MGS collection Volume 2. However, whatever Konami's plans, will probably have to wait until next year to hear about it, or maybe they tease something in the upcoming Master Collection Volume 1 when it releases this October 24. Another game we'll probably have to wait till next year is the new free-to-play Skate from EA, but the developers have been kind enough to give us a new look at how the recent playtests have been shaping up the game. They posted the highlights for May and you can see the game starting to take form. This is part of EA's new way of marketing campaigns where they let you see the game behind the scenes. They did the same with Dead Space and I loved it. Skate will be a free-to-play live service when it launches at an unspecified time for PS4 and PS5. Time for an update on the Microsoft FTC case as part of Day 2 last Friday, and if the first round was seemingly a tie, the second one was all on the side of Microsoft with the witness for the full day Phil Spencer talking about exclusives. He started talking about Minecraft and how Sony was reluctant to send them development kits for PS5 at the same time they gave them to other developers. The FTC pointed out that they had 3 years to make a native version since the PS5 launched, but Spencer replied saying they have looked at ways to maximize the success of Minecraft. This segment was weird because Xbox Series also doesn't have a native Minecraft version, so PS5 is on a level playing field. It was also exposed that Minecraft Dungeons was first thought to be a PC exclusive, but ended up shipping on all platforms. The conversation shifted to Bethesda titles as the FTC questioned if the Elder Scrolls 6 was going to follow the same route as Starfield, but Spencer said the game is still 5+ years away, so it's difficult to nail down. He was also questioned regarding some comments that Spencer said back in November 2021, where he implied Elder Scrolls 6 will be exclusive, but he really didn't. When pressed in an interview by GQ back then, Spencer said, "It's not about punishing any other platform, like I fundamentally believe all of the platforms can continue to grow, but in order to be on Xbox I want us to be able to bring the full complete package of what we have, and that will be true when I think about Elder Scrolls 6, that will be true when I think about any of our franchises." The media then called the game exclusive, and even the FTC and Sony have treated Elder Scrolls 6 as an Xbox exclusive since then, when they filed documents for this process. Spencer continued in the courtroom saying he thought they have been a little unclear on what platforms it will launch on, given how far out the game is. I would go further and say this has been an issue of their acquisitions, as it feels their PR is afraid of explaining what will be exclusive and instead go with the case-by-case narrative, and I personally wouldn't have any issues with them saying everything will be exclusive from now on. It just happens to set false expectations for the community. Spencer continued talking about Bethesda games and said that despite Redfall, Starfield and the upcoming Indiana Jones exclusives, many future ZeniMax titles will be shipped on PlayStation and Nintendo. Also pointing out that they want to keep exclusive content for Xbox users, and neither Redfall nor Starfield have communities on PlayStation. Even worse, Redfall was heavily criticized and generated minimal sales. On Indiana Jones, the Xbox executive mentioned the contract was amended as he wanted to keep an exclusive Disney game to compete with Sony's Spider-Man 2. That was a good one, Phil, I'll give him the point on that one. Another game that was pointed out on Thursday as being undecided is The Other Worlds 2 from Obsidian, despite Microsoft introducing the game as a console exclusive in their 2021 showcase. Moving on, Spencer talked more about exclusives, giving the just released Final Fantasy XVI as an example of a PS5 console exclusive and how Sony is very aggressive in their strategy. That every time Xbox ships a game on PlayStation, Sony captures 30% of the revenue that they do in the platform and then uses that money among other revenue that they have to do things to try to reduce Xbox survival on the market. One of the things that annoy me about this whole process is how everyone involved, even Sony, is saying half-truths or trying to spin the narrative their way. Maybe that's why the only way I would follow what happens in a courtroom is if it was a Marvel movie or TV show, but I digress. Again, I don't have a problem with Xbox acquiring studios or making games exclusive, but this big teamhood and underdog narrative is really annoying when they are putting $69 billion to get another company, something very few players in the industry can do. Don't you think they could have used that money to secure exclusive content anyway? Microsoft is more than capable of playing the same game as Sony without acquiring companies, as they showed in the Xbox 360 generation. Spencer continued saying they needed to do a lot of work with a lot of partners given the competitive situation they had against the market leader. Xbox also saw how Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop were PS5 only, and with the worries the same was going to happen with Starfield, they had to secure content for the platform to remain viable, and that's how the Bethesda acquisition happened. The last part of Day 2 was about Call of Duty, with the judge asking Spencer under oath if Microsoft would keep the franchise on PlayStation. Spencer said, "I would raise my hand, I will do whatever it takes. We have no plan, I'm making a commitment standing here that we will not pull Call of Duty, it is my testimony from PlayStation." As you said, referring to the judge, Sony obviously has to allow us to chip the game on their platform, but absent any of that, my commitment is, and my testimony is, that we will continue to ship future versions of Call of Duty on Sony's PlayStation 5. And he even clarified on any future PlayStation console. While Day 1 kind of showed what the FTC is trying to prove, that Microsoft would take away Activision content if the deal happens, Day 2 ended up being a score for Microsoft as they explained the need for exclusive content and how they are willing to ship content to other platforms. We'll see what happens in the next chapters happening this week, with witnesses still to testify including Sony Interactive CEO Jim Ryan, Activision's Bobby Kotick, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, and more. Now that we mentioned Call of Duty, Activision is shutting down the first version of their Battle Royale game Call of Duty Warzone 1, or Caldera as it's known. The publisher said that as of September 21, 2023, Call of Duty Warzone Caldera will shut down as our team focus on future Call of Duty content, including the current Warzone free-to-play experience. And you may be able to experience Quake 2 again, as a remastered version of the game has been rated by the Game Rating and Administration Committee in Korea. That is ahead of this year's QuakeCon in August. The same happened back in 2021 when the original Quake was rated and then announced at the Bethesda event for most platforms including PS4 and PS5. Do you know what else released in 2021? Alan Wake Remastered. And writer for the game Sam Lake explained recently how they got the opening quote of the game from King of Horror Stephen King. Lake told Eurogamer that creating the original Alan Wake, he really desperately wanted a quote from King to start it off. King was so on board with the idea that he wanted $1 for Remedy to get the rights to use it. Voice actor and one of my favorite YouTubers, Yong has earned the right to voice Kazuma Kiryu in the English versions of the upcoming Like a Dragon Gaiden and Infinite Wealth, as RGG Studio announced on Twitter. In a recent video, Ye said that he cannot begin to tell how much this meant to him, as Kazuma Kiryu has become one of his favorite protagonists in any medium of all time. Yong will be attending the Dragons of Japan panel promoting the game as part of the Anime Expo in the Los Angeles Convention Center on July 2nd. Sticking with Sega, they held this year's Sonic Central event on Sonic's birthday last Friday, June 23rd. These are the updates for PS4 and PS5 Sonic games. Sonic Origins Plus is out since Friday, adding new Game Gear titles and playable Amy Rose. It can be acquired as a standalone title or as paid DLC for the original release. The Sonic Birthday Bash update added party items, new challenges, new moves, new collectibles, New Game Plus, and more. All for free in Sonic Frontiers, and the update is already available. Original Sonic designer Naoto Oshima and Sonic Team's creative officer Takashi Iizuka explained the idea for the upcoming Sonic Superstars was to show a significant evolution of the series while reproducing the original pixel art but in the world of 3D. Sega is also collaborating with LEGO to add LEGO Sonic and Eggman skins into the game, with LEGO Eggman being exclusive to pre-ordering. Sonic Superstars only has a fall 2023 official release window, but both GameSpot and Target leaked the release date of October 17th as spotted by Wario64 on Twitter, so it seems the game will join a very crowded month. and another leak apparently indicated that E3 2024 and 2025 might not be happening. The news was spotted in a report from the Los Angeles City Tourism Commission, where they showed their forecast for booked hotels in the city, with a note that mentioned these numbers included E3 cancellations for the next 2 years. However, an ESA representative told Axios Stephen Totilo that the organization is currently in conversation with ESA members and other stakeholders about E3 2024 and beyond, and no final decisions about the events have been made at this time. And those are the PlayStation stories for today. Come back on Wednesday for a new video, but remember to share your thoughts on any of these news in the comments below, like or dislike to let me know your feedback, check out other videos you may enjoy while you're here, and consider subscribing for more on PlayStation. Thank you so much for watching, my name is Joseph, this is Hype for Games, and let's get hype!